All right, guys, so now we are ready for the second part of our tutorial. And last one, we worked on the surfboard and got that completed. And now we're going to do the beach towel and the umbrella. And when we complete these last two objects, that will be what you need to work for your first badge, is completing the first half of our flat design. And then we will start on the next series of tutorials, which is completing the last objects that we have here in our layers of the sunglasses, crabs, seashells, and background to finish that third batch. So let's go ahead and get started. You should still have your surfboard completed from the first tutorial. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to lock my surfboard just to make sure that nothing happens to it. And I really do not want to see it right now, so I'm going to turn off the visibility so that I have my artboard cleared up. And since we are going to do the beach towel next, we need to make sure that when we come over here to our layers that we activate this layer, the beach towel layer. There we go. And know that whenever we create anything in the beach towel layer, that for me, the outline will be this dark blue. So whatever color that you have for your layer, make sure that you are paying attention to the outlines for your objects and that you're only seeing this dark blue color. Otherwise, you're probably drawing or creating on a different layer, and we want to keep them all together on the beach towel. So let's get started. This should go a little bit faster than the surfboard because I've showed you where many of the tools and some of the commands are. So I will go a little bit faster with this go around, and as we progress, you should be getting better and better at finding the tools or finding the right commands. If, however, I start getting too fast for you, just make sure you pause the video and you can go back to where you got kind of lost on it, or you can always turn on the closed captioning so that you can see my words instead of just listening to them. All right, here we go. So we're going to be on our beach towel layer. We're going to start with a rectangle, and I want it to be 150 by 230 pixels. So I get my base shape, come over here to the shape controls, make sure I'm not constraining on my ratio, and type in the dimensions, 150. If you just hit the tab button, it automatically goes to your next area, so you don't have to worry about clicking on it with your mouse. And that is the size I want, but not the color that I want. So we're going to change to a nice purple color, and that code is 9076E2. And there's our nice purple color. We still do not want to have an outline on this. So now I'm going to click my selection tool so I have it ready to go. Now we're going to start making several different layer or rectangles to give our beach towel its shape. So I'm going to get another rectangle. It needs to be the same width, but this time I want it to be just 18 pixels for the height. So 150 by 18 is what you should have. And we need a different color, of course. So we're going to do a pink color, F294B6. There we go. So this is kind of going to be kind of like the border of the beach towel. So I have it right up here. You want to make sure that it intersects nicely with this purple section. And I'm going to put another one down here. So the two options that I could do is I could do Command C, then Command V to paste, and then I've got another one there, and I can move it down. Or an even easier way is make sure you click on your object, hold down Alt, and then drag down, and you've got a duplicate. So we have one pink one here, one pink one there. And now I want to put some pink ones in between here. I could do the hold down Alt and grab a couple, but I'm going to have Illustrator do the work for me because I want to make sure that they're evenly spaced. So I'm going to grab this first pink rectangle, hold down Shift, get the second one. So now they are both selected. Make sure that we don't just grab this way because I don't want that purple rectangle selected. We just want to get this one and this one. So we have to hold down Shift. Oh, emails are coming through. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so now we're going to have Illustrator do the work for us. So we are going to go up here to Object, Blend, Blend Options, and there's 3 different things that this can do for you. You can smooth color out, you can specify a distance, or you can do what we're going to do, which is specify steps. So we're going to change the number from 8, or whatever number pops up for yours, to 3, and then hit OK. Nothing changed because we have to come back up here to the computer and say Object, Blend, Make. And now, boom, you see 1, 2, 3 more of those purple, or excuse me, those pink rectangles are now evenly spaced on the purple part. So now we need to make sure that we expand this because the computer recognizes this as different objects and we want it all to be the same. So we're going to grab everything, go up here to Object, Expand, and hit OK. So we want Object and Fill to be expanded. There we go. So now we've got that. And now we're going to do another rectangle. I'm going to keep adding some dimensions to our beach towel. We want it to be 150 by 18 again. There we go. And let's do a different color. We're going to do a dark purple. And the color code for the dark purple is 4A288C. There we go. Nice dark purple. Make sure you get back to your selection tool. So we're going to put one underneath there. Now we could try to do that object blend again to try and get them down here, but for some reason it won't work because we already have all the pink ones and it just really messes it up. So we're just going to use these pink ones as our guide for our spacing, and I'm going to hold down Alt and I'm going to put another purple one, grab another one. I'm going to do it on every single, underneath every single pink one except for the last one. So there we go. All right, now we're going to add some tassels to our beach towel. So to do a tassel, we're going to start with a small rectangle. And when I say small, I really mean small. So we're going to go up here and make it 10 by 20. Pretty small. And this time before, you know, see the shape, we do need to round the corners of this, but I only want to round these top 2 here. So I'm going to click on my shape button again. I'm going to get off of here so that they're not linked, and I want to round these top 2 corners to their maximum value. Since my width is 10 pixels and there are 2 corners, the maximum amount I could go is 10 divided by 2, which is 5. Now you could keep on going, but you can see what happens. I can now no longer do this corner because I used all of my pixels to round that left one. Let's make them both 5. There we go. So we're going to position this on the corner there, and it's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to zoom in and do Command plus. Move my artboard a little bit, so now I can see a little bit better. There we go. Now I know it's intersecting perfectly along that horizontal line, or excuse me, that vertical line. And I'm going to make a copy of this and put it over here. So again, you can do Command C, which is copy, then Command V, which is paste, or just hold down Alt, which makes it so much more simple, and drag it over. So I want this area to be filled up with these little tassel sections. So just like we did with the pink rectangles, we're going to do it with these. So I have to select this one, hold down Shift, and select that one. Then we go up here to Object, Blend, Blend Options, because we don't want 3, We want to do, let's do 8. Do OK, and go back to Object, Blend, Make, and there we go. And again, we want to come up here and expand that object. And now that we have the top row of tassels, I'll go ahead and zoom out so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to make a copy of it. So this time I am going to do Command Copy and Paste. There it is. And I want to put it down here, but if you notice, I need these little curved parts to be facing the other direction. So we want to rotate it, and you could just take this section here and with the curve and then rotate it around. But to make sure we get it precise, we go up here to Object, Transform, Rotate. We can do a specific angle, so we can do 180. Oops. You can see it's not as easy to do it that way. Or another way you can do it is to do a reflection. And we want it to reflect horizontal, so this will do a perfect 180 for us, and you can see because I hit preview that it did it, and we just hit OK, and then we get it placed there. And believe it or not, we are almost done. The last thing that we have to do for our beach towel is just put like that shadow effect like we did on the surfboard. So using this dark purple color, I'm going to get my rectangle tool and make sure I'm like right on the middle, covering up that one side. And now I want to find my transparency layer. See where that is. I might have closed it because I don't see. Oh, there it is. So if you closed your transparency layer, don't forget to go back up here to Window and turn it back on. Change this from normal to multiply and lower the opacity so it's a little more see-through to 30%. Not 300, that would be really opaque. All right, so now we have that little shadow, and I got to get rid of this extra part. So we grab everything, go over here to our shape builder, or do Shift M, hold down Alt to go to minus, subtract, and there we go. Now we have our beach towel. So we want to make sure that we group this together. So that's Command G, and now you're able to move it, able to rotate it, and put it where you want it to go. So we're going to go ahead and go back to our layers, and I'm going to lock this in place, and I'm going to hide it. If you want to see it with the surfboard, there you go. And let's go ahead and go on to the last object that we are going to create for this batch, which is our umbrella. So to start with our umbrella, we need to make sure we are on that layer. So here we are. And this time, we're going to start with a small little post for our umbrella. So we need a rectangle. And let's put our size of it to be 10 by 220. 10 by 220. And let's make this that magenta color like what we had on the surfboard. So that code is DF2754. Now we've got our magenta color. So I want to go ahead and round my corners on this shape. So make sure you select it. And I'm going to round all 4 corners. So I'm going to link them, and it will go to as much as it can go with all of them linked, which is 5. And there's our little post for our umbrella. Now we're going to create the actual umbrella shape. So to do that, I want to get my ellipse tool. So I'm going to start it as a circle. And this does not have to be exact, but you want it to be about 220. It's not quite 220. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exact, but just so you can see what 220 is. There we go. And I'm going to change the color back to that bright orange that we had from the surfboard. So it's F9A03F. There we go. So it doesn't look like much of an umbrella right now unless you're looking straight down on it. So if we're looking at it from a side view or like a profile view, we would want just like this top portion right here. So we are going to dissect this shape by coming over here and getting a line segment and drawing a line about where we want it. Now notice how my angle changes. I want a straight angle, a straight line, so that would be 0 degrees. If you don't have it at 0 degrees, then you're going to get it at a tilt. So there is my line. Now I need to grab both my line and my circle. So you could either hold down Shift and grab both, or just draw your box around the two of them. And come over here to your Pathfinder. Again, if you closed it, open it back up in Window. And I want to do divide. So now it's divided into two parts. It looks like one part, but if I use my direct selection tool, I can see that there's one part there and there's a part there. We're just going to delete that part. I don't need that. So get my selection tool back, and you can kind of see how it's starting to look a little bit like an umbrella. You need to add a little bit of dimension to it. So to do that, I'm going to come over here to my polygon tool, click once because I want to create a triangle. So I need to make sure I have 3 sides. The radius is fine at 50. We're going to probably alter it anyway. But the color is not right if I use this when I put it on top of this portion. And so I don't want it to be the same color. I'm going to actually do a lighter orange color. And that code is F9D1AA. Here we go. It's a nice pale orange. So I want this to be in the center of my umbrella part. So you can see right there. Now there's a couple things we could do. I want it to even up right here on this edge. So what I could do is just like we did with the surfboard, I could, or actually with that circle where I can draw a line through there and then cut that part off. That's probably the best way to get it perfect. Or you can hold down Shift and change the size. Oops, moved on me. I didn't want it. There we go. Hold down Shift and change the size so it will fit on there. But that takes some finagling. So you can see it takes a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that thing where I draw the line on there and then delete it. So I want to move this post out of the way because I don't want to accidentally delete that. Actually, you know what? Let's do Pathfinder. Let's go here. Let's do divide. Oops, divide helps. There we go. So now I should have different sections. And let's go to our shape builder. So I just want to delete that because that matches up perfectly. So I hold down Alt, boom, there we go. That's what I wanted. So now I can take this back and put it there. Looking a little bit better. We still got a little bit more work to do, not a whole lot. Now what I want to do is I want to put something that looks like the hanging down parts. I'm sure it has an official name. I'm just going to call it the hanging down parts. So I need to make a rectangle that is the same length as this umbrella. The width doesn't have to be anything specific. You don't want it to be too big, but you don't want it to be too small either. There we go. If it overlaps a little bit, that's okay, because mine is overlapping just a tad. It looks like it's at a weird angle too. I don't know why that is. So I'm going to have it overlap. All right, I don't want the magenta color, so I'm going to change the color of this. Let's click on our color picker, and it's going to be a dark orange. So that code is EF5500. There we go. A little orange color scheme. Light orange, middle orange, and then darker orange. So what I want to do is make this section look like the three parts of what this top portion is divided into. And in order to do that, we're going to get a line segment, and we're going to line it up. Draw a line so it lines up with the edge of that triangle, and it's going to cut through this rectangle. And then we're going to do another one, the same. Watch your degrees, because if you start moving it, it's going to tilt, so it should be 270 degrees. Now it looks like that other one disappeared, but it's still there. It's just there's no fill, there's no stroke, so it's invisible, but it's still there. You can see as I hover over it, it shows up. So I want to grab this line segment, and then this rectangle. So I need to make sure I hold down Shift, grab just that line segment, don't grab that little wedge there. Hold down Shift again, and then grab that rectangle. And now we're going to come back over here to Pathfinder and divide it. And so what it did is now we have three separate rectangles. If I use my direct selection tool, you can see there's 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to modify each one of these to kind of look like the little dangly parts. So the first thing that we're going to do that is come over here to Effect, go to Warp, and then Arch. You always want to make sure that preview button is checked so you can check and see what it's going to look like. So we wanted an arch at a vertical, and set your bend value to 30%. Again, I've already done this, so it remembered my settings from before. Then hit OK. Now let's do it for this one here. But this time, so we go to Effect, Warp, Arch. This time we want it to arch the other way on the vertical. So we're going to do -30 because that's the opposite of 30. There we go. Still starting to look a little bit better. Now we want to make sure we expand that appearance. Same with this one here. So Object Expand. And I'm going to round these corners a little bit. So that corner's already rounded. So if I click on that corner, is it gonna, no, it did it too much. That's what I was afraid of. Let's go back. So I want you to do Command Z. There we go, until you get back to where you were. And let's click on our corners. I just want to get that corner. There we go. And move that to 3 pixels. And then we're going to click on this corner here. Make sure you got your direct selection tool or else it won't work. And then we want that set at 3. Click on this one. Set that at 3. That one. And these 2 corners. So that one needs to be at 3. And this one. That kind of softens the edge a little bit. Here we go. Now let's go back, select that first one, and let's put that effect in. Warp, Arch. We wanted this one to be at 30%. And then we'll do this one, Effect, Warp, Arch, at -30. There we go. See, it's starting to look pretty good. One more thing. All right, so give it more of like a scalloped edge to it. Let's come over here, and we're going to use our anchor point tool. So the shortcut command for it is Shift-C, or you can just click on it there. And if we go here to the center of that bottom section, click, hold down, and just kind of tilt it up a little bit. And I'm going to do that for this one here too. And you can see what the effect is of that. This is our little scallop effect, and it makes it look more like an actual umbrella. Pretty cool, huh? All right, that is it. If you've completed all of this, did all of the steps, then your job is to show me all of them. So what I'm going to do now is I want to make sure I group my umbrella. So Command G. And let's go ahead and bring our beach towel. And I'm going to unlock them so I can move them. So I got my beach towel, my surfboard. So if I want to, I'm going to move my surfboard over here. Just going to kind of arrange this a little bit and tilt that just slightly. Put my beach towel there. So notice that because I have the umbrella layer above my beach towel layer, that's why this is in front of the beach towel. If I were to move it, you see what happens. It hides that part of the umbrella, and I don't want that. So I'm going to move it back under here under the sunglasses, because I will later put my sunglasses here on top. So there we go. Those are the first three objects. Learning the basics, some of the basics of Adobe Illustrator. So now what I want you to do is to show me you've completed these three objects by taking a screenshot. So a screenshot is Shift and Command. You hold down Shift and Command, then press number 4. And you see I've got this crosshairs. So you're going to drag your crosshairs over the section that you want, and I want you to go ahead and show me all of your Illustrator stuff. So I'm dragging it over here. Then you release, and it shows me a little clip of what it is. Whenever you take a screenshot, it'll be on your desktop, and there it is right there. So now it's time to turn this into Canvas. Make sure that when you get into Canvas, so you'll see it here, I don't have it up yet, but you will turn it in. There should be a section for you to turn in. You're going to turn it in as a file upload, okay? And you're going to search for that file upload, and you'll go to your desktop, and then you should see where it says screenshot. It's very important it says screenshot. Make sure it does not end in AI, because if it ends in AI, that is like this right here, that's an Adobe Illustrator document, which means in order for me to view it, I'd have to open it all the way up in Adobe Illustrator, and I don't want to do that. It uses up a lot of space on my computer. But a screenshot is just basically a JPEG, which is just an image, and it's so much easier for me to see. So this is what I would see if you were to turn that in. All right, that is it. That is badge number 2. So when you get that turned in, let me know, and then I will check it, and you can go straight on to badge number 3, which is working on those other objects that we are going to create. So the sunglasses still, these little seashells, then the crabs, and then this background. All right, thanks guys, have fun.